Isn't it so stressful to spend hours making the perfect video just for all of the views to depend on the packaging? In YouTube, 80% of the results come from 20% of the effort. That is the Pareto principle here. And 20%, that effort is just the packaging, which involves your title, thumbnail, first 30 seconds to a minute of the video, and the idea. After struggling with the packaging for many years myself, until finally reaching the 750,000 subscribers I have now on my main channel, Amy Wang, I discovered the simple framework that if you follow, you will guarantee your first few minutes of your video will be optimized for watch time. If you follow this framework of the 5 Ps, you will maximize the watch time of your audience from beginning to end, which means that the algorithm will boost your video to more people. So getting your viewers to click is just half the battle, but you also have to get them to stay. And this is exactly what this video will help you do today. I help ambitious individuals build a personal brand and ultimately become the CEO of their own lives. If you haven't already, please check that you're subscribed. Now, without further ado, here are the 5 Ps. At the end of this podcast episode, I will reveal which of the 5 Ps is most important because yes, some are more important than others. 1. Pain. You've probably seen those YouTube videos that open with a hook that sounds a little something like, does it feel like you can never stop procrastinating and your work is slipping by day after day? It's important in the title and the first few lines of your YouTube video to address the problem and pain that the viewer has, because people click to have their problem solved and they continue when they've gotten that emotional response. Basically, this is to achieve 3 things. 1, for the viewer to be like, oh, that's me. This problem applies to me, so I should click this video. Number 2, describing the pain and problem accurately helps the viewer feel like you understand what they're going through and creates trust. And then number 3, that emotional response helps them feel more compelled to keep watching the video. So this might sound like it's a bad thing to do, but make the viewer feel the pain intensely and even enhance it. Show them how bad their situation will get if their problem persists. Remember that the point of you being on YouTube is to provide people value. So really, you're doing a good thing by showing people their pain because it encourages them to continue watching the video to get their problem solved by you. The second P, proof. Demonstrate that you as the creator can solve their problem and that you know what they're talking about. Nowadays, people's attention spans are so short, and in fact, there are different platforms, not even different creators, all trying to vie for the same attention. Therefore, if your video is 10 to 15 minutes long, you need to show your viewer that it's worth spending a precious 10 to 15 minutes with them. So show your credibility. Any specific stats you have, like notice in the beginning of the video, I said that I had 750,000 subscribers. If I were to make a video about how to get a 4.0, I would say something like, oh, I was valedictorian in high school and I got a 4.0 GPA at Caltech in chemical engineering. So FYI, that is why I say that in the beginning of all my videos on my main channel, which were targeted towards students. Even if you don't have any specific credentials, you can mention your experience. So similarly to I did at the beginning, if you're trying to help people with a problem of getting views on YouTube, you can mention that you have been working on this problem, researching this problem for years. You've watched 50 YouTube videos on how to do better packaging, and you yourself have experimented across 100 different videos. So your experience is also part of that proof. The third P, promise. Make a clear promise to the viewer of what their transformation will be by watching your video. This is where you want your viewer to get excited about the outcome that they will achieve. Because remember, people don't buy products or watch videos to get a laundry list of 10 tips. They are here to get that transformation. They're here to have something actually change in their lives and for their problem to be solved. I spent 2 years figuring out how to grow on YouTube. So if you would like to skip the 2 years of pain that I had, then you can sign up for my free 5-day guide that's linked in the description. I will share about how I made content 2 times faster such that I could still post videos consistently every single week while working full-time as a business management consultant. The fourth P, picture. Paint a picture of the roadmap and show your viewer how you're going to give them the solution. So for example, in a video, you could say, I will go over 5 tips on how to become more productive. Saying the number of tips that you will go through in the video is a really easy way to do it, but you can also flesh this picture out to say, this video will be broken into 3 sections. The first section will be about mindset and the resources to develop your winner's mindset. Section 2 will be about productivity hacks. that you can start doing right now. And section 3 will be action items that you should do immediately after this video ends, such that you can already start seeing results. If you confuse them, you lose them. So that's why it's important to give viewers a roadmap of what they can expect. So as they're going through the video, it's predictable, right? They can see, okay, after you explain tip 2, well, I can reasonably assume that you're going to go into tip 2 next. And that way they also anticipate what's next to come. And that also keeps them engaged longer, which makes them more likely to stay to the end of the video. Number 5, the 5th P, plan. Then you just dive into the meat of the video in a structured, organized way, following the picture that you just gave. So I kind of lied. The 5th P is not really part of the introduction of the video, but it is very important nevertheless. And 5 Ps just sounds better than 4 Ps. Usually it's introduced with the 5 Ps, and that's why I share them all in one fell swoop. So technically the 5th P was a bonus. You're welcome. Now, what can you do right this moment to improve your YouTube scripting and packaging sense? Well, when you watch your next YouTube video as a consumer, think from a critical perspective. Oh, that line really enhanced my pain in that moment. I see what they did there. Or, wow, this person used a really strong promise. And wow, I felt compelled to watch to the end of the video because this creator gave a super strong proof of why I should listen to them and not other people. In fact, you can go back to the beginning of this podcast episode and see how I applied the 5 Ps. Now, in podcast episodes, I do tend to be a little less concise than in my usual YouTube videos, as people usually listen to these on the go, maybe at a slower pace to absorb, but the same principles apply. And you'll see that whether it is the title, thumbnail, overall packaging, the most important aspects are actually, I believe, the pain and proof. That's why you want your titles to be problem-driven, not solution-driven, to really tackle the problem people have and then give the solution. An example of a problem-driven title would be How to Beat Procrastination for Good. Notice that the problem here is beating procrastination, that someone has procrastination as their issue. But then a solution-driven title, which isn't as good, is How to Use Google Calendar to Get Your Work Done Faster. This isn't as compelling because people, when they're struggling, they don't think, oh, Google Calendar is the solution to my problems. And so it doesn't click in their head as immediately that this video is of value to them. You see, in both cases of the problem-driven and solution-driven title, the content itself could have been the same. It could have been all about Google Calendar in the video. But the packaging is all that matters. And I know it's so stressful. I kind of hate that sometimes, honestly, where you've spent all this effort on the bulk of the video and then just a few seemingly little things like the 20% of the effort in the packaging gives you 80% of the results and ultimately determines whether your video goes viral. And this is proof. Well, what I'm about to say is proof, is because one time I posted a video that was about how to work hard or reasons you should work hard. And when I first posted it, it was like 8 out of 10. Video was flopping. Not the best, but then I changed the title and thumbnail after that video was already posted for like 2 weeks, and that video blew up and now has 1 million views. That is so insane and just shows the value of packaging. Now, title, thumbnail, and intro are not everything, because what is the 4th element of packaging? Yes, it is idea. And idea is really hard to describe in just a few words, but it's not only the topic of the video, but it is also how you plan to present that information, whether it is the format in which you present the topic or who you are to share that topic. The idea actually ties into proof. So all of this is very interconnected and holistic. Basically, if you actually want to succeed on YouTube, you yourself, in the way you live offline, has to be someone who others can look up to or that others can learn something from. If you in your own life are not an expert in painting and are not proud of the way you paint, then you cannot teach painting on YouTube. Likewise, if you're not consistently productive and can efficiently produce outputs and you're actually scrolling all day, well, what you say on YouTube will not be as believable even if you lie in the intro, because people can tell from the words you say and the way you explain things, whether you truly know what you're talking about. And that is why including personal stories and details are so valuable, because it builds trust. Thus, to have those personal stories and details in the first place, you need to be a strong person offline to become that personal brand online. Because personal brand is not just deciding, oh, I really like the productivity niche, so I'm going to make productivity videos. No, you are not the messenger. You have to actually embody everything you're sharing, and that is how you stand out. Be a proof first creator. The reason I wanted to start YouTube was not because I wanted to be a YouTuber or because I wanted some specific clout or benefit, but I felt like I myself as a person have achieved some interesting things, like going to Caltech, getting into business management consulting, and just in general, the way I think about things, overthinking things is very analytical, and the mindsets I have truly allow me to be happy on a consistent basis while still working hard. And I thought that therefore me as a person could be inherently of value by just talking online. So that is what I believe really helped me stand out when I leaned into who I am in my videos and thus blew up so quickly on YouTube. When you stand out as a person and show how you stand out as a person online, people will notice and people will get interested, share your videos around, and they will be interested in the next video you watch, which also is a factor of click-through rate. So click-through rate is not only how good your packaging is, but it's also about how much you satisfied your viewers in the previous video, which affects their probability of clicking your next video. If you found this video helpful, please give a like and comment below what questions and struggles you have about YouTube. I'm going to make more content about how to build a strong, profitable personal brand, because I believe that that is the way to future-proof yourself, especially with AI going on, right? It's like only 2 ways you can survive right now, pretty predictably, and that is number 1, do the thing that AI can definitely not replace, which is to be human and build a personal brand, or number 2, to join AI developments and to create a company in AI automation or to join a startup that does AI. The free 5-day guide also shares tips on how to become more confident and the best habits and mindsets to apply as soon as possible such that you can grow on YouTube. It's completely free and will be linked down below. Thank you so much. This was a quick video today, and I'm off to a little Halloween party. Today is October 30th, and I'm actually really proud of this costume. Look, I even drew on some fake freckles, and I think they look pretty realistic. So for the podcast listeners that also watch the videos, you can take a look. Like, I did my makeup to kind of match Hermione, and I even waved my hair too. And my hair is brown, you know? Who said Hermione is an Asian? Until J.K. Rowling personally sends me a message that Hermione is an Asian, I will keep believing that I'm the perfect Hermione. Okay, thank you so much. And until next time, remember to subscribe and like and comment what you are struggling with on YouTube so I can make better and more helpful videos for you.